What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the NASCAR Nick YouTube channel. It is time to talk about Atlanta. Okay, so let's get right into it. Atlanta. First of all, I didn't watch the whole race. I was actually doing some homework, so I missed most of the first stage. But I thought Atlanta was actually a really good race, contrary to the opinion that it was really boring because there wasn't that much passing and stuff like that. But I actually thought it was a good race, and I want to tell you why, but I want to talk about the race a little bit first. So basically, this race was dominated pretty much just by Kevin Harvick. Not a surprise. He's been there, he's been really fast there the past, I think it was like 5 years or whatever. He finally gets the win. Salutes Dale because the last time he won there, it's only his second win in Atlanta, and the first time was like 3 weeks after Dale Sr. Died at Daytona, and he threw up the three for Dale. So he did that again yesterday, and I thought that was actually really cool. I've never been a huge Harvick fan. I was at the 07 500, and I was cheering on Mark Martin, and obviously Kevin Harvick won, and I was kind of like, eh. So I've never been a huge fan of his, but over the past couple of years, he's really gained a lot of my respect, or I've gained more respect for him, I guess, and I think that just shows why. I think he is. I like how he speaks his mind usually. I'm referring to the Dillon brother thing a couple of years ago in the Truck Series, right before he left RCR. And I like how he just says it like it is. But I think he is mostly a classy guy. He's made some bonehead moves in the past, of course, like many drivers have. But I think for the most part, yeah, he's a really good guy, and I do respect him, and he's beginning to, become one of the drivers that I kind of root for if, my driver is out, which I'll get into next, I guess. So what we saw, the Fords were actually really strong at Atlanta, which I was surprised because they're not supposed to have that much downforce. The front isn't as sharp as the Toyotas or the new Chevrolet bodies. So I was surprised, but they actually took the top three spots. Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, and Clint Bowyer, actually, crazy. He finished third, and then they were followed by Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano. Kyle Busch was seventh, Kurt Busch. Kyle Larson was the first Chevy in ninth, and Chase Elliott somehow got a top 10. Hendrick Motorsports looked absolutely awful yesterday. Just a really bad race. Chase Elliott, he only finished 10th because of pit strategy. I think he was running like 13th or 15th almost the entire race. He was the best out of the Hendrick cars. Jimmy Johnson running pretty much like crap and blows a tire, and his day was done. He finished like 27th, I want to say. Yeah, 27th. So that was really disappointing for me personally. And then Alex Bowman, I don't even know where he finished. Alex Bowman was 20th. William Byron was 18th. William Byron actually ran like 25th all day. So 18th for that, that team is actually decent. But yeah, I think, Hendrick overall did pretty poor yesterday. Kyle Larson showed some speed at the beginning of the race, but no one can keep up with Harvick, but just the Fords and even the Toyotas of Hamlin and Truex. And Hamlin was really only up there because he also did some pit strategy. But, Truex, of course, he's fast. But yeah, the Fords actually really surprised me with, like, how fast they were. So if that, it's only 2 races into the season, really 1 race into the season because Atlanta's, like, the first downforce track we have. But if that's any sign, I think that's great for Ford because I thought they were going to get completely blown out of the water this year, and they finished, 1, 2, 3. I mean, they got 5 cars in the top 8, so they're looking pretty sporty right now. I gotta say, and I'm happy about that. I'm a Ford guy, and outside of NASCAR, I'm a Ford guy, so I am happy about that. But yeah, a little surprising to me. And then Toyotas, they were fine. Martin Truex Jr. wasn't as spectacular as he was last year, but I mean, come on, like last year, it's hard to be that good every single year, every single race. So they got a 5th, give them a break. They started I think dead last or something because they didn't pass inspection or something like that. So I'll give them a pass on that. But yeah, Chevy teams, it's going to take some time to figure out the Camaros. So I think as much as we might not want to, we got to let them kind of figure it out, sort it out, and maybe by April or May-ish, they'll hopefully be faster. I mean, the aerodynamics, like, it looks like it should provide a much better, much better downforce package for them than the SS did. But again, we'll just have to wait and see about that. But now I want to talk about why I think the race was so good. And a lot of people, it was just like single file and there wasn't that much passing, which is true. There really wasn't that much passing, but Atlanta is, even though there wasn't that much passing, Atlanta, it still provided for a great race, in my opinion, because one, the track is super abrasive on tires. Now, they're probably going to repave it soon, but for now, it's super abrasive on tires. So tire strategy and, that's huge. Kevin Harvick won and he kind of dominated. Like, he led like half the race, but it was really interesting to see how his strategy, compared to Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano's strategy, was going to work out, because you didn't know. So Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano and a couple other, I think Chase Elliott too, they were trying to do the last, 150 laps on, or maybe it was 100 laps, on only like 2 stops or something. I think it was 150. On only like 2 stops. And Kevin Harvick and 90% of the field was doing it on 3 stops. And so what that caused was, Denny Hamlin would be out there with new tires, running down Harvick, and Harvick would be out there with old tires, but then he'd pit, and then he'd be going super fast, and he was catching up to Hamlin. He'd pass Hamlin back for the lead, and then Hamlin would come pit like 10 laps later and get new tires and chase him back down. I think that created a really cool dynamic, and that's something that I think was kind of overlooked in talking about yesterday's race. So that's really why I'm saying, it wasn't boring. People are like, oh, it's just boring. Well, it really wasn't. Like, there's actually a lot of strategy going on. And that's what that's more of what I want to see is more strategy play into it. And that's also why I've kind of been down on the stage racing, because everyone knows when cautions are going to come and all this stuff. So, like, it kind of takes some strategy out of the window. But this is what I like to see, like the tire strategy really coming into play. And, because you're running 2 or 3 seconds faster with, sticker tires than you are with 20 lap old tires. And it just really creates a whole new dynamic for the race. And that's why Atlanta and tracks like Atlanta with like older pavement that's really worn out and abrasive on tires provide really good racing. Even if they're not racing for the lead every single lap. I mean, there was a 3-wide situation for the lead in I think the second stage, which was pretty cool. But more than that, though, I think just the whole strategy of it. I mean, because I was watching the race, I was streaming it, and then I was also watching something else during commercials or whatever. And sometimes I'd come back and I would have missed a little bit of the race, and I'd find myself switching back to see like, oh man, is there a caution going to come out? Like, is that going to change the complexion of the race? Like, what's going to happen? Because Denny Hamlin wanted it to go green the entire way, and I mean, I guess Harvick did too, but it would have benefited Hamlin more if a caution came out, which of course it eventually did. But you're just like, you're kind of in suspense because you don't know what's going on. Like, this guy's made his bet, he's cashing on this strategy. This guy's all in on this strategy, and now it's just up to the racing gods to see what's going to happen. And I think that's really cool. Personally, I think that's really cool. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. But I think that's really cool. So, Atlanta just provides that because of the abrasive surface and bringing tire strategy into the mix. Now, moving on to Las Vegas, I'm not sure if we're going to see the same thing. I can't remember. I don't think Las Vegas, is it abrasive on tire? I don't really know. I feel like it's kind of in between. It's like, whatever. I am looking forward to Las Vegas, but I just wanted to talk about really quick, like, that's why Atlanta, to me, was good, is because it brought in a lot of strategy, and you had to try to outsmart the other guy instead of just, pass him or whatever, or be faster than him in general. And that's really cool to me. So I hope we see more of that. Obviously, like I said, I don't really know about Las Vegas, but I'd like to see more of that. That, to me, is real. That's real racing, okay? That's like trying to outsmart the other guy on tire strategy, on fuel mileage, all that kind of stuff, on trying to guess when cautions are going to come, looking at Larry McReynolds' race trends or whatever. So that's why I thought Atlanta was really good. But that pretty much sums up my review. Not much else to really talk about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Las Vegas. So if you like this video, hit that like button. And if you loved this video, consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.